Oh, wait, no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, you can listen to the show wherever you find your podcasts and on YouTube at the Trophy Room Show. And if you like what you hear, please consider dropping us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can plop us a follow on Spotify, or if you really, really like us, you can toss us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson, how are you, sir?
Man, I hate humidity so much.
Dude, today is nuts. So just let the audio viewers know, there's a thunderstorm, like a severe one in my area yet again. So
Okay.
if you hear the power of Thor, that's just New Jersey currently.
That's fair.
So I'm literally in the middle of it. It's crazy.
I don't know what the exact temperature was today, but I just know that the feels like was like 96 degrees and we were not allowed outside at work.
If it feels like 93, spoiler alert, it's 93. I don't care what real number.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I don't know why that's a thing.
I hate when they're like, it's 32, but the wind chill is 13. It's like, then it's 13 degrees.
Exactly.
Then this is what it is. Alongside us, because this month is the month of August, I try my best to reach out to all my friends, all my buddies, get them on this show. We got a special guest for you, the host of Player One Podcast, Mr. Chris Johnson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Joseph. How are you?
Man, I'm very happy to finally get you on here.
This is great. I've been a listener for a long time, and I love this podcast. This is my favorite PlayStation podcast.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. And I love Player One Podcast, and I'm not offended at the slightest that I haven't been on your podcast.
Not many people have. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But like Luke Lore multiple times? What does this guy have on me he's not that great. He's very bland. Let's be real. No, but you have a prestigious history.
No, he answered the bad phone.
I guess. I'm always around, though. But listen, okay. CJ, you have a prestigious history here in the video game world sphere. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us what Player One's all about.
Oh, man. Well, in the industry, I've been doing video game stuff since 1991. I started doing a fanzine, which was just like a newsletter, just photocopied and stapled and given out to my friends. And then I got a job at EGM in 1994.
Wow.
So I started working in EGM when I was in high school still, and only worked during the summers, and then came on full time in 96 and worked there till 2004.
Oh, that's awesome. And I don't want to make you feel old or anything like that, but when you said 91,
yeah,
that's the year I was born.
So. Oh my, no, dude.
I swear. I wouldn't do it. If it was 92, I would have let it go.
I was 4. To be fair.
That's a little better. That's a little better. God.
I know, but you've been around the block for a very long time. And listen, we need your expertise for this episode, because there's a story in particular that I don't think we've encountered this ever before. But before we get into any of that, what is Player One? What's Player One Podcast?
Player One Podcast is a show I've been doing with some of my former coworkers back in the video game magazine times for about 15 years now. We've been podcasting every week, and that's over at player1podcast.com. People want to check it out. But we just talk every week about video games, record it, and then throw it up online in case people want to listen to it.
Dude, and that's so cool, because it's like, here's your longtime work buddies, and I'm assuming this is the way that you guys connect every week.
Pretty much, yes. It kind of came out of our online gaming on Xbox Live back in 2006. We were playing Burnout, and just, we were listening to the One Up podcast at the time and thought, hey, we could do that. We're interesting, maybe. Like, maybe people are going to want to listen to what we have to say. So we started back in 2006.
That's awesome, man.
It's crazy.
15. And that's like, when you think of like podcasts in 2006, it's like you had to like drop a file into iTunes every week from what
That's
I
right.
hear. It
Yeah.
was super archaic. And just to find, like, even nowadays, it's still super archaic of how to put up a podcast. It's always awesome to like hear from like you or like Danny Pena of like the
Oh,
folks
yeah.
that have been doing this for literally decades plus. It's amazing to me. It's awesome to see how podcasts are just continuing to thrive, man.
Yeah, I
But
love it. I love just, listening to fans talking about video games. And I love that you can fill a whole day worth of listening with just that now. It's great.
yes, yeah. And with that, like this episode, I feel like I'm getting my podcast Exodia, right? That's for all the cool kids out there. Okay, because a few months ago we got Greg Miller on the show. We got CJ on the show tonight. Now all I need is like Jeff Grubb and someone else. I need some fourth, and the Exodia is complete. My podcasting, bucket list is over. I've won.
Happy to get you a little bit closer to that.
There you go.
Yes.
There we
There you
go.
go. You got the like left arm of Exodia, right arm of Exodia, and now, yeah.
Love
Kyle,
it.
do you understand? Do you understand a little
Not
bit?
at all. I was taking mental notes of how many other references are you gonna make to make CJ feel old. Like you've been doing this for decades, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
pretty
expertise.
much.
It's
No, I get it. No, I
knowledge.
totally. But like you use the words archaic and
Yeah.
decades. I was like, oh,
All right,
man,
maybe my words weren't the best.
The funny
No,
thing
it's
is
fine, it's fine.
when I first started at EGM, I used to make other people feel old by saying I wasn't born when the original Star Wars hit theaters. I was born the week
that's fair.
after Star Wars came out.
That's totally fair.
Like I held that over people's heads for years.
Mhm.
So now I'm getting it from all
Absolutely.
sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm just trying to remember when the first time I watched a Star Wars, probably 94. Huh.
Yeah,
That's it.
around episode 1 for me. That's the first time I saw it.
Oh my God,
Oh,
episode
really?
1?
I didn't say
Wow.
episode 1 was the first one. I said the first time I saw Star Wars was around that time.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I did
Fair
not
enough.
start with Jar Jar Binks, everybody.
Well, you had
Okay.
the
So
special
everyone's-
editions were out in theaters,
Yes,
and that was a
yes.
whole thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. But listen, we're not here to talk about Exodia, Yu-Gi-Oh, Star Wars, any of that. Today we're talking about how Sony has completed its purchase of Crunchyroll and what that may mean for PlayStation Plus. We're going to talk about, yet again, abandoned PS5 demo, delayed by quote-unquote technical difficulties. We're going to talk about the review scores for Hades are coming on in. Take-Two has some mystery remasters and remakes in the works. And Diablo 4 loses its director and others from Activision Blizzard Purge. So with all that said, with all that out of the way, before we square up the news, I want to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. I want to thank our platinum producers, Todd Burwitz and Too Soon. I want to thank our gold members, Chaotic Monkey, Gavin Gottfried, Griffin West, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Ren, Metal Kirby, Robbie Bobby Miller, our Silver Plus members, Hayden Doors, Nakachaka, Marcus O'Neill, oh, it's just Ray, JB the Purple Monkey, Jadis Von Metal, Tim Olf, Justin Rodriguez, Awesome Dave, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Cypher Primus, and Captain Logan. Thank you all so much for supporting us the way you do. And a bit of an announcement for patrons out there. We have a winner for our Road to Greatness for August. It is Hades. So we're going to talk about how everyone is hot in Hades. It's going to be fantastic. So if you're not a patron, make sure you up a pledge today. And with that, Kyle, all that talking aside, it's finally time to square up the news. Let's do it.
First piece of news that needs to be squared up is from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer. Sony completes $1 billion Crunchyroll buyout. We first heard word of Sony's intent to gobble up Crunchyroll late last year when it bid $957 million. Today, Sony announced it had finally secured the service, its 5 million paying subscribers, and more than 120 million registered users. Sony, of course, is already a key player in the anime streaming market via its existing service, Funimation. Today, it said its goal was to create a unified subscription experience, suggesting a linked paid option is on the cards. There are also plans to potentially offer Crunchyroll as part of a more expensive premium PlayStation Plus offering, Eurogamer understands. Quote, With Crunchyroll and Funimation, we are committed to creating the ultimate anime experience for fans and presenting a unique opportunity for our key partners, publishers, and the immensely talented creators to continue to deliver their masterful content to audiences around the world. Sony exec Tony Vinciquerra said. Sorry, Tony. With the addition of Crunchyroll, we have an unprecedented opportunity to serve anime fans like never before and deliver the anime experience across any platform they choose, from theatrical events, home entertainment, games, streaming, linear TV, everywhere and every way fans want to experience their anime. Our goal is to create a unified anime subscription experience as soon as possible. End quote.
So this is some pretty big stuff announced back in December, finalized now here in August. I want to note from what Eurogamer says, there are potential plans of offering Crunchyroll as part of a more expensive premium PlayStation Plus offering. All this news pretty substantial for Sony's end, not so much for PlayStation's end. But Yuna does write in, and she asks, with the rumors of PlayStation Plus adding Crunchyroll, which is a great addition for anime fans, do you think that this is when they package in PlayStation Now? It's been a thing that has been discussed before, and is something that is not a bad deal for players. So I want to go to you first, CJ, on this. What do you think PlayStation, or really Sony's, plan is on leveraging Crunchyroll into the PlayStation ecosystem? Is it by just simply offering, like Crunchyroll as a premium service, or is there something more here that we may not have our eye on?
I would just be surprised to hear them upping the price or offering a higher price tier of PS Plus. Regardless of the quality of Crunchyroll, I think it kind of starts to be a hard sell because we're
Yeah.
already paying kind of a lot for PS Plus.
Mhm.
If it's part of the PS Plus service, if it's a value add to it where you get it for free, or you get like a lower tier, like you get some of Crunchyroll for free
Mhm.
as part of PS Plus, I could see that being a thing. But um, is this a way to add value to PS Plus or create a package with PS Now, PS Plus, and Crunchyroll? I think that's possible to
Yeah.
make it more attractive, but just being PS Plus plus Crunchyroll, I don't for more money. I don't really see that as a. Is that going to make people jump on PS Plus? I don't know.
Right. No, I mean, that's a great question. I'll turn that over to Kyle. Do you think that I mean, I'm not an anime guy. Again, I threw out that Yu-Gi-Oh reference. That's the only one I know. So, Kyle, do you think that this potential pack-in does really anything for us?
I don't think anything for us who've
Mm.
already been subscribed for forever. I do think it is a cool way of packaging in on already a subscription service that a lot of people already have,
Mhm.
as a way
Yep.
to kind of like cut costs or make sure like you don't have multiple things being billed out every month. Um, I mean, I think it's just hilarious that everyone was like, we're gonna cut the cord on cable and we're paying more subscription service fees on all these different things everywhere.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But I do think it's interesting how excuse me. This could be a way to get people who only watch Crunchyroll into the PlayStation ecosystem
Mm.
and kind of
Hmm.
bringing in people that way of be like, you can get your subscription as well as like, here's 3 free games every month for PlayStation whenever you do get a PlayStation kind
Right.
of situation here. But I think to Yuna's question, like if Crunchyroll and PS Now is not bundled in, it's not going to do anything for me. I'll say it whatever's
Yeah.
the standard PS Plus level that I'm currently at, because I only want the games. I'm not an anime watcher either.
Right.
I only know Ash Ketchum and his adorable rat mouse Pikachu.
And all their
That's
hijinks.
yeah, that's all I know.
Yeah.
So that for me, like it doesn't do anything for me, but it is a super cool thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with both of y'all. I don't know if this potentially adds anything, at least to me. I think if we're bundling in a PlayStation Now, this is something we've been preaching for months on the show. Is like, give us a way to like yeah, consolidate PlayStation Now into PlayStation Plus. Give us a better service with Now. Put it in PlayStation Plus, and we've got something here. I think
Yep.
Crunchyroll add something for anime fans. I think this is a great way of still appealing to the Japanese market and Westerners that are into anime and manga. Because from what I'm aware of, when I was on the Full Circle podcast with Odell Harmon Jr., he mentions that with this acquisition of Crunchyroll, now PlayStation owns a lot of merchandising rights and a lot of rights to these more either obscure anime or popular ones like My Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have the opportunity to have all these IP. What do you do with them? Right? Do you contract them out to various second party studios? Do you have, an Arc System work on a Crunchyroll like, not Battle Royale, what was I gonna say? Smash Brothers like
I
clone?
mean, we did get Jump Force. What was that, last year? And it didn't
Yeah.
go over well.
Exactly. But I mean, we also got like Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah.
We've gotten
It can be
Guilty
done.
Gear. It can be done. So yeah, I take a look at what PlayStation's plans here, and I don't
Is it
I don't
weird though
know
that they
about them.
took out their on PS5 their movie and like they had that cable service
Yeah.
too? Like
PS
got rid
View.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
They got rid of PS View, which I thought was a really good service actually.
Yeah.
And now they bought Crunchyroll. Okay, like they just got rid of their video services. Like what sense does this necessarily make? There's something I think we're just not seeing to this, or there's nothing there.
So I think what not PlayStation, Sony's doing is they're taking a look at the streaming marketplace and they're going, okay, we want a piece of this, but we know we can't go up against a Netflix. We don't have the content to go up against, an HBO Max, and we don't have the money to go out and buy things like Hulu does or whatever.
Mhm.
So let's have a part of the market that people are interested in and gain a foothold in it. So I think you've seen a lot of places like Netflix invest in anime or animation, and I think Sony sees that this is an entry for them to get into services that way. It's more niche for
Yeah.
sure, but it's something that I think they could strive at.
Hey Joe.
Yeah.
Bloodborne anime series.
So, like,
Don't tease me like
that's the thing I was
that.
just thinking about. Like, imagine if PlayStation got into the game of what like Marvel's doing on Disney Plus, where you get shows based on these video game franchises and it's only on a PlayStation service. Like, I think that would be day one thing for all of us. Like, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
watch an Uncharted series. Absolutely. Like, The Last of Us is on HBO already, but like,
Right.
I'd be down for all these things.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you're seeing them like partner up with various,
Mhm.
like I mean, with their production house partnering up with HBO, making superhero deals with Disney, and it has been 2,332 days since the release of Bloodborne. I would love to see you. I wasn't into this until CJ you said it. I'm just thinking of like a slash of a saw cleaver and just seeing like blood. Yeah, yeah. Give me that. Give me that all day. And yeah, that's a great point though. Like this could be something that is a way to bring your other studios here forward into maybe Japanese markets or just their animating studios. That's a
Does this tie to that what was it, like a month-long thing in Poland where they added like
yes.
Sony movies and stuff to the Plus
Yeah.
service?
Oh,
Like,
right.
does this tie into that?
I think that's the test for whatever this is.
Yeah,
I think
right.
you're right. And like CJ, what you said earlier is, yeah, they got rid of their movies, their TV shows on PlayStation, the storefront,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because I went into the store earlier. I saw movies still there. Strange. It was strange. Nonetheless,
You're still
they
waiting
got
on
rid of
that
them.
Force Awakens theme, right?
I'm still waiting. Sony, come on. But yeah, it is a strange move, but it's one that it makes sense. It's just I don't know how much cross pollination there really is between the two platforms, but it's something to definitely check a look at as the weeks go on. With that said, Kyle, the next story on this list has me in a fervor a rage.
Before we get into the rage,
Okay.
I just want to just shout out to you, Joe,
Why?
for using Check a Look every week. I love
Thank you.
that.
Yeah.
Shout out to Devolver. We love you so very much.
Yeah.
And Check a Look is one of my favorite
It's
things. And
I'm
I've
trying to
noticed
make it
it.
catch on.
I've noticed it a lot lately. I'm like, yes, Joe, every time. Bring it back.
If the B word has entered this,
Banger?
this sanctum, god damn it. I want Check a Look to be just even higher on that pedestal.
Check a banger look. How about that? Taylor Lyles over at IGN writes, abandoned PS5 demo delayed by technical issues. And this is also updated from a previous article. After announcing yesterday that a real-time experience patch would be available universally starting at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time today, Blue Box Game Studios announced that a demo for its upcoming project Abandoned has been delayed due to technical issues. The real-time experience demo is available to download right now in the PlayStation Store. Launching the app loads the game up to where it prompts you to select a language, before displaying a message that notes that it is not a playable teaser, but an introduction of what to expect. Yet, launching the demo now, you will be met with a "check back soon" message over a black background. Abandoned has also been the subject of numerous rumors, most notably that the game is tied to Hideo Kojima and or a new entry in Konami's dormant franchise Silent Hill. Blue Box says it's continuing to work on enabling the patch that will activate the Abandoned real-time experience app almost a full day after it was meant to launch. In an update on Twitter, the studio said the fix was taking, quote, longer than expected, and that the team is fully working on it. No further reasoning has been given for the delay.
Hida writes in as a joke, God bless them, saying, what is Abandoned? What is this game?
It's just the feeling that we are getting after this whole thing.
It's
fully immersive. We are abandoned by Blue Box Studios and Hassan.
It's an ARG.
God, the insipid ghost writes in, Luke Lore, who's an awful human being. I just want to make that known. In CJ's experience, all right, we're coming to your expertise here, CJ.
Okay.
Has there ever been a PR campaign as odd as Blue Box's? What are some standout oddities for some marketing through the years? I hate how he throws words like oddities out there. Like, is this a goddamn pawn shop? Is there like a dusty vase that I don't know?
Are we on Pawn Stars on History Channel right now?
The best I could do for Luke is tell him to go to hell. But that's a great question, CJ.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, there have certainly been PR campaigns similar to this where a company would advertise a game. What was it? Even Daikatana. Do you remember that from the late 90s where like nobody had screenshots of it yet, but there were ads for it? And do you remember the Phantom console that was supposed to be like a PC, more powerful than any console and as flexible as a PC? And eventually they just like made a keyboard and some peripherals or something. And it was just like vaporware forever, but they strung people along.
Yeah.
And you could say that even PT from Konami was kind of a string along where there was actually no game right. Or there was a game planned, but
that's like that game Wild, right? Michelle
Ancel. Or Beyond Good and Evil?
Yeah.
2? When's that coming?
I mean, that does speak to the wider issue of games getting announced.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
But Joe, this isn't a game. This is a interactive real-time experience.
Well, I think part of it is we don't know. Like they're being all mysterioso about it.
Right.
But and they're creating this thing around it, which may end up being completely nothing, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, so here's where it just doesn't make sense to me. They get a blog post, right? And it, a blog post that's some money right up front. They say we're partnered with PlayStation. So, okay, this is an indie studio, perhaps working with XDev to make a second-party PlayStation game. Okay, so PlayStation knows you're putting out this trailer, which a few weeks afterwards, people go, "Oh, this is just an asset flip from the Unreal store." And
Yeah.
so PlayStation has to have known that. They can't they have to know what's going on here and what this thing actually is. One would think. And then they go, "Hey, our game's not really called Abandoned. It starts with an S, ends with an L."
Right.
And there's already people thinking maybe this is a Kojima thing because things aren't lining up. Their logo's literally an inverted PlayStation logo or a PlayStation Studios logo. And then
Mhm.
you have like this, yeah, we're not showing you a trailer. This is something you experience through your PS5. And so it's like, okay, this is not an indie studio because we just talked about weeks ago how indies are struggling to get, a look on the PlayStation Store, how it costs $100,000 to get on front page. These guys have their own experience that PlayStation's like, yeah, go ahead. Have this little free, we don't even know it. Can't even call it a demo, can't call it a trailer. And they delay it multiple times until August 10th was supposed to be it. And Hassan yet again dropped the ball. The one last thing that makes everything a little bit more frustrating is they're like, "Are you ready?" And it's a picture of a person. You just see like their legs and a little bit of a jacket walking through assume a
Cabin or
doorway,
something.
a cabin, and apparently this is the same outfit worn by a Silent Hill character. So everything points to Silent Hill. It sort of smells like Silent Hill. And the way that they even tweet during times in Japan and not anywhere in the Netherlands, there's just none of this makes sense. And it's aggravating, CJ, because probably by the time this episode goes out, we know what it is. Because if the conspiracy theories are right,
I'm gonna
PT
say
was
no on
announced.
that. I'm
You're
Yeah,
gonna
saying
say no
same.
no.
on it? You're gonna say
Yeah.
no? Listen, I'm gonna say it. Just like how they said Trump would be back in office at the beginning of this month, I'm saying it right here. Pete, this is Silent Hill. It's gonna be announced by the time this episode goes live.
This whole thing
No
is
shot.
giving me Trevor Slattery vibes from Iron Man 3,
Trevor Slattery.
where he's the Mandarin. He's supposed to
Oh,
be the
right.
Mandarin, but he's just some
Yes.
paid actor.
Yeah.
This is giving me vibes. Like Hassan is clearly Trevor Slattery, and
So,
Kojima's back there running the show.
so do you think this is all a ruse? Like, do you think that this is just a studio that is way over in like they're way over in on their head, or is this like is this something bigger that we're
I
just not seeing here?
I feel this sounds a little harsh, but like
Say it. Just say it.
it seems like a lot of my ideas where it sounds great.
Yeah.
Like it'd be super cool if it hits.
Sure.
But then I do not execute it well enough. And it
Yeah.
doesn't hit the right notes. And it's that big cool thing that you were envisioning for doesn't hit those highs because of all the setbacks and all the weirdness that is going around. So like I
Okay.
at this point just like tell us what it is. If it is still a real-time experiencing whatever, fine, just call it the Silent Hill real-time experience at this point. Like
Right.
I don't know.
Now, CJ, you're
Hmm.
adamant. You're like, this is not what you think it is. Do you
No,
think
I
this is
just don't
just a
think
little
so.
indie studio?
I think, yeah, it's an indie
Yeah.
studio trying to get attention for their title, and it's sort of run away where they've created a monster that's larger than the project that they have. It's just my hunch on this whole thing. They've created a monster. Maybe they're trying to get funding or something, and they're drumming up hype for this thing in order to do that.
Mhm.
Maybe they reached out to Kojima, like, I sent an email to Kojima or Hideo at kojimaproductions.com, and that's like, we're in negotiations, but not really. My email
Yeah.
bounced or whatever. Like, to me, it's just ignore this thing until you see like the green light, like you can download this thing and play something, because
Yeah.
otherwise, to me, it's a complete ruse.
It
The
is.
idea that there might be people at PlayStation who know what this is or have allowed whatever this is to go on is unfortunate. But hey, I mean, to me, there's nothing there. Ignore it until there is.
but it's so hard to like because I don't have a horse in this race. Like I'm not a Silent Hill fan. I'm just curious about stuff, and and the way they're tweeting, the way that the Hassan like is staring into like he's a hostage of some sort. Like it's this
Not
none
even
of
that,
this,
but like the abandoned title with like a blurry image of a man with an eye patch.
which
Like,
looks like Big Boss.
yeah, it's. But like special shout out, we said it weeks ago at this point. Like shout out to the team for actually drumming up interest in their stuff. Like
Absolutely.
they
Sure.
know what they are doing.
Sure.
If they don't, they
Yes.
are the luckiest people I've ever known.
Yeah.
They need to go buy a lottery ticket.
I think they have preyed on fan desire for a new Silent Hill since
Yeah.
Konami's not going to do it, and it's worked out for them.
Absolutely.
And good on them that it's worked out. But
Yeah.
I hope there's something behind it.
Mm.
Same.
And that's the thing. It's like you're right. I think this thing has totally gotten away from him. Like no matter like because to me it's like if this is Silent Hill, okay, that's a bit of a to me. I feel like it's a little bit of a disrespect to the fans because you've teased them so much, and it's kind of like, all right, we knew this. Why couldn't you just say this months ago?
Yeah.
And if it's not, God help them.
Yeah.
It's gonna get ugly, unfortunately. And at the same exact time, it's like they gained 10,000 followers in a day.
Well, here's what that should really say is to Konami is people want this.
Yeah.
Like you better get making it if you're not already.
Absolutely.
People want this, so get on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The way I see it, there is something afoot. None of this looks legit. It's kind of like it really just looks like a bogus driver's license when you're a kid to get booze. You know what I mean? Like it's
McLovin.
Instead of Abandon, I'm just seeing McLovin. That's all I'm saying. I'm not buying any of it.
I kind of point back to the Phantom thing, which if people remember, I mean, that went on for years.
Yeah.
And when I worked at Electronic Gaming Monthly, this was at a time where MapQuest was just starting to be a thing. And so like their address in Florida, I did the Street View thing. It was a mailboxes, etc. So it's just like these little pieces start coming together where you're like, this thing isn't real. Like the promises or whatever, like, and you have to kind of forget about it because I mean, would any AAA studio just string people along forever like this without a concrete plan?
I mean, you just take a look at any game as service. Yeah.
Well, that's different though.
Yeah.
Sony did that with The Last Guardian a little bit.
Right.
They were like, I mean, there were issues as well, but like,
but we saw that. We saw
true.
The Last Guardian.
That is true. Yeah.
We saw the game.
And that's the thing. Like the only thing that we really have is like, it's the Phantom Pain. Like that's it. It's okay. So the last one on this one.
Oh, real quick, I want to go back to Luke's question a bit because I am genuinely curious about the second half of it. Of working at EGM, did you ever get like these weird PR like mail stuff? Like I remember a couple years ago, like a Spyro's thing, like they sent out an egg, and they're like, "Hey, we're hatching in a couple days. Stay tuned." Or I think even there was like some weird package, I think last year or 2 years ago, that was sent out where it had like a ticking clock on it. And they were like, you're only allowed to open it at this certain time when the clock reaches 0. Like, what are the weirdest things that you guys got at EGM for like promoting a game?
Oh, it was kind of before that time. Because we were monthly and because we didn't like post anything to the internet during the time that I was there, really, we didn't get any crazy stuff like that. But we would get pitches from people who would say they have a game or whatever that would turn out to be nothing. That happened plenty.
So like an Abandoned. You're no stranger to this whatsoever. Yeah. TPR writes in the last question for this topic. Again, it's Silent Hills. I'm telling you. Damn, I didn't vet this question full enough. With Blue Balls Game Studios abandoning their game, do you have any faith that this company could still somehow succeed. No.
No,
If it's not Silent Hill, this thing is.
it's not. But yeah, I'm 97% sure it's not Silent Hill and has nothing to do with Konami.
Yeah, God bless this team.
I will go out on a limb and say I feel like it already is a success. I feel like the amount of followers and people thinking about this thing, like you got to a quarter of those people will buy the game. That's a pretty big success rate right there, just to see what it is. Just like if it lives up to the hype.
It's just to know that this studio. I mean, if it's not, and this was just a big nothing burger, the studio couldn't launch the reveal trailer. What faith am I going to have that this game
that's totally
going to launch in a good state? So
that's totally fair.
Yeah, man. I don't know, but you know what? Let's get hyped. Let's talk about a game that actually exists that we'll be playing. Well, by the time this episode goes live,
the Metacritic reviews are in on Hades for PlayStation. PlayStation Lifestyle gave it a 100. I haven't felt this drawn to a game in a long time. Hades is fully deserving of every award that it has earned, and PlayStation players finally get to experience this perfected Supergiant Games masterpiece on PS4 and PS5. It's an utterly brilliant melding of narrative, art, music, gameplay, world, and characters, with unique details throughout each element that come together to create a game unlike any other. Hades bears the mark of being a Supergiant game while never feeling like it retreads any of the developers' past work. Rather, it builds on everything they've learned. It's a triumph of player choice and discovery, consistently engaging and always begging for just one more escape attempt. Over at Game Informer, they gave it an 85. Supergiant's latest opus is a beautiful and thoughtful twist on Greek mythology, flipping these old stories on their head and transforming them into commentaries on modern relationships. High-octane action gameplay may pull you into hell for the first time, but I suspect you'll stay to find out about this eccentric and fascinating family. Over at Screen Rant, they gave it a 90. The game runs and renders beautifully. The DualSense controller's great build makes for a device that's satisfying to play challenging content on, and Hades remains one of the best roguelikes in recent memory, regardless of what machine is housing it. And sorry, that's a question.
From Cloudside.
I thought there was another site called Cloudside.
Cloudside writes, with the show airing on Hades Eve, will you guys be going for the platinum and making Hades one of your priority games? I can't wait for it after hearing about it when it came out on Switch and winning multiple Game of the Years. I'm going to go to you, CJ, on this. Have you played Hades?
I have. Yeah, I played it on Switch.
Yeah. How did you dig it on Switch? Because for me, I couldn't read the font and I let go after that.
I loved it on Switch. I thought it was great. I thought it's a great roguelike. To me, I thought it was great that they allowed the narrative to progress even if you suck at roguelikes like I do. And you can also there's a god mode that isn't, you can turn on in options, but it doesn't make it a complete cakewalk. It just doubles your attack power, and it still scales correctly. So it doesn't it doesn't remove the challenge completely. And it's just a very accessible roguelike to really any skill level of player. And to me, I really appreciated that, and the narrative elements that just kept moving. So.
Yeah, because with Returnal, as much as I love it, that game will punch you in the face repeatedly. And
I never beat the first boss.
Hey, I get it. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people. You look at the trophy list. Oh man, we're part of the elite that platinum did. Me and Kyle, look at us.
That's
so
right.
it is interesting for you to say that it's an accessible roguelike, because these games you're supposed to die. That's supposed to be it, right? Or am I getting the genre completely wrong?
No, you're right. Yeah, you learn from your mistakes, and you upgrade every new life to kind of learn and grow from there.
Kyle, you're the co-host of this little podcast called the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players.
I've heard of it.
Are you going for the plat?
I always will say I am going for it.
Okay.
But I know how hard it's going to be.
Yeah.
I did play Hades a little bit on my Switch and a little bit on PC.
Mhm.
Beautiful, gorgeous game. The
Yeah.
music is incredible.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play it on my TV and experience it with the best video game controller of all time,
Yeah.
DualSense. But I
Beautiful
know it's
OLED.
I
We're part of the
oh my god.
LED gang.
I know
Beautiful.
it's going to be super punishing.
Yeah,
But like I beat Returnal,
that's right. How
right?
hard could it be?
I'm
Now,
real close to platinuming Rogue Legacy all these years later. Like
ooh, look at
Oh.
I'm
you.
pretty close, so I'm good. Definitely going to give it the good old college try.
Much more accessible than Returnal
Yeah.
or Rogue Legacy. Like,
Yeah.
I think you're
Mhm.
really gonna get along with it.
That's yeah. Mhm.
So my question for you, Kyle, is I know this game came out last year, but when we have the Trophy Room Awards at the end of the year, are we putting this? Can we? Are we allowed, Kyle? Are we allowed to put this in there, like as the indie, as our game of the year?
I almost said famously. I don't think I famously said anything
Mhm.
ever, but I once said on this very show that I would not consider Resident Evil 2 remake in the game of the
Right.
year discussions because
Right,
it's pretty much
right.
the same thing. How wrong I was. Same thing with like FF7 remake. How wrong I was.
That's right.
Those change things up a little bit though. I feel like
Okay.
Hades is the same thing.
Okay.
Like there isn't, unless they're adding new things and we don't know about it yet, which I don't think so. I
Right.
feel like it's the exact same thing that was out last year, so I would say no.
Okay. Okay. Dang. And you know what? I want I want a plaque of like Kyle's famous last words. I don't think I ever said anything famous.
Here lies Kyle.
Yeah, I see. I don't know. Because I would love to give this game a shot because it's a brand new experience for me, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like for me, I'm like, no, this is a new game I played this year. But yeah, theoretically it came out last year, and theoretically it's been out for a bit because it was in early access for so long.
Maybe
But
we
you
can have
know,
a
if
new.
this is truly a podcast by the players for the players for the PlayStation gamer, they haven't played it.
That's true.
So to them, to your audience, this
That's
could
right,
be a
dude.
game of the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say maybe we could have a category of like new to PlayStation in 2021 or something. Like best game that's new on the PlayStation. Oh, what the cat's your name? I'm on the stop right now.
No. Work in progress title.
Yeah.
I like this. Yeah, I dig that. I think it could be up for best indie. I don't think game of the year. I think it would be disqualified. Disqualified. I think that makes sense.
All right, that works.
Yeah. The loophole. I hope people like it. And again, it's going to be our game on the road to greatness. And I didn't interfere this time because I knew I was going to win. And also, I was kind of rooting for second nuts too. Kyle, here's something your eyes perked up when you saw it. This is a
Sure
good
did.
one.
Zarmina Khan over at PS Lifestyle writes, Take-Two has 3 unannounced remasters / remakes in the works. Fans hope Bully is included. Take-Two Interactive has 3 unannounced remasters remakes in the works, according to a slide in the publisher's Q1 2022 financial presentation. The slide in question is titled Pipeline Details and lists the company's current development projects as of May 18th, 2021. As previously reported, Take-Two has one unannounced 2K title that it'll reveal in due course. In addition to this, it has 6 new iterations of previously released titles in development. 3 of them have already been announced: Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, Grand Theft Auto Online standalone version, and Kerbal Space Program for the new consoles. The remaining 3 are still under wraps. There have been rumors over the years that a Bully release or re-release, in this case, is on the cards. Others have speculated that Take-Two will re-release older GTA titles or attempt to revive its Max Payne series. And in a note, a post on the German PlayStation blog specifically mentions 4K and 60 frames per second, though developer Rockstar has yet to officially announce the technical capabilities of the new additions.
You know what they call the PlayStation blog in Germany, Kyle? Do you want to know?
Yeah, what did they call them?
Das Blog. Got him.
I should have never, ever joined this Zencaster link today. Other than meeting CJ. Everything was...
Yes.
Everything's been a wash.
Kyle, I'll go to you here. I'll go to
Yeah.
you here on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got very excited. I don't want any Grand Theft Auto remaster. I don't care about the PlayStation 5 version. 4K 60 FPS, that should be just a given. What are the 3 games you want that remaster remake treatment on?
I mean, first and foremost, it is Bully. Bully's
Yeah.
amazing, and I definitely would love to see it in some new glory. I would love the older GTA titles. I tried to go back and play Vice City again. Man, as a kid, that game was everything, but now it is so simple. It is so like trying to drive through the streets of Miami and Vice City, running into buildings left or right, because it is so extreme pressing left or right on the D-pad or on the analog stick.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to get like a newer version of those. But like I'm just thinking out loud of other things that it could be, and I was trying to go through their list of things, and a lot of it was like Dora the Explorer games or a lot of old MLB 2K or NBA 2K stuff. But the couple caught my eye.
Okay.
Like the Darkness. What if they bring the Darkness back in some way, shape, or form? Or a game that never saw the light of day. What if one is Agent and they're bringing it back? We'll finally see what Agent is after all these years. It was supposed to be a PS3 exclusive game, and we never
That's
got
abandoned. We've figured it out.
There it is.
Got it.
Starts with an A. It's
pack her up. We're out of here.
But like I do think it's Bully and probably the GTA titles. I don't know how far back they'll go. Like new XCOM game. Probably not. Maybe that Marvel XCOM game is part of the new projects. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm just gonna say it before CJ maybe takes it. I don't mess around with 2K much. They're not my publisher of choice, but I will pay a handsome price for Red Dead Redemption just to have the Red Dead 2 engine. But none of its they're quote unquote gameplay enhancements from 2. Red Dead 1, same game in that engine. Don't give me horse ball physics. Don't give me horses pooping. Don't give me I forgot my gun on the horse. Just give me Red Dead 1. Give me the Red Dead Online. Give me the me riding a zebra on the online. Those of you who know. So that's all I want. CJ, is there anything from the 2K catalog that you want them to revisit?
I think Red Dead 1 would be great.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And the Undead Nightmare campaign,
so
which was
good.
so cool at the time. Have like a standalone DLC thing for a game. That was awesome. Bully would be excellent to do. They could bring back any of the GTAs for Switch. Switch doesn't have any GTA. They
That's
could
true.
do like a Chinatown Wars.
Oh, no.
Redo. Chinatown Wars was on Vita, wasn't it, or was that PSP?
I think
time?
PSP at the time.
One was on DS, right?
That was Chinatown Wars, and then they redid it for PSP or Vita, and then they also did it for mobile phones.
Yeah,
but yeah, a lot of options here, though.
Yeah,
I mean, Max Payne could definitely be another one too.
Give me Max Payne 1 and 2. Let's go. Those games were great.
Would they do that without Remedy though? Wasn't Remedy involved?
Yeah, that was such a strange partnership, because I think Remedy gave like Rockstar the rights, but they transitioned to, because Rockstar did Max Payne 3 and it was good, but it didn't have the. It was missing something that only Remedy can do. It was missing that Remedy touch. So
I want the movie adaptation in the game. I want that game. Mark Wahlberg.
Hi, Max Payne. Say hello to your mother for me.
Off the wall remake prediction.
Yeah.
What if they're remaking the first BioShock? I mean, we got
I don't
like
know.
the remasters, like the
Right.
collection on PS4, but
I think we're gonna see a soft reboot before,
that's fair.
like here's something in the similar vein type of BioShock.
Yeah.
But I'd love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, let's get into our last major bit of news. Kyle, take it away from her.
Samuel Tolbert over at Windows Central writes, Diablo 4 director, 2 others no longer with Activision Blizzard. According to a report from Kotaku, Diablo 4 game director Louis Barriga, Blizzard lead level designer Jesse Mccree, and World of Warcraft designer Jonathan LeCraft have all been let go from Blizzard Entertainment as of Wednesday. McCree was reported to be one of the senior Blizzard staff taking part in the alleged Cosby suite, with screenshots of comments made by McCree and others in a group chat recently surfacing. This follows the news that Blizzard president J. Allen Brack was leaving the company, with Jen O'Neill and Mike Ybarra now co-leading Blizzard Entertainment. During Activision's Blizzard's recent Q2 earnings call, CEO Bobby Kotick said the company is committed to change, emphasizing that any managers or leaders that impeded the integrity of our processes would be let go. Activision Blizzard employees note that their demands have not yet been met.
Also, even the board say this is not enough right now. That said, Kyle, we're seeing some positive change, right? We're seeing massive figures within Blizzard, toxic folks being ousted. We're seeing the accusers being ousted, and people that seemingly let the accusers run rampant ousted from Blizzard. Is it for us right now? We talked a little bit before the show. Is it time that we can start reporting on Blizzard Activision again, or do we still not want to give them the light?
I'm still not totally in love with giving them any sort of to use a wrestling term, rub. I don't want to give them a push or anything. I feel like a lot of this is, I mean, this is all good that these people
Right.
are gone.
Right.
But the fact that the employees' demands have still not been yet feels like these moves are definitely for us outside the company. And until things are changing for the people that are in it every single day, this is going to have a better chance of repeating itself, kind of a thing. So, like, I hope that they listen and Bobby Kotick listens to these employees and, like, gives them what they want, because I believe we read it a couple weeks ago. Like, their demands are very reasonable and very, like, what I feel should be like the gold standard everywhere. So until that's being made apparent, like they're actually listening and actually going to go forward with meeting some of their demands, I'm still very iffy on giving them any sort of light.
I'm at the cusp, if that makes any sense. You're giving me a lot of things that I like, and I think at this point, this is now an internal Blizzard thing, right? Where they have to make sure their employees their demands are met. They feel safe working there. I kind of like could wipe my hands with it and be like, okay, we've done the good thing. I'm at the cusp of bringing you back into the fold, of maybe not me buying your game, but me covering you on a semi-regular basis. That's where I'm at. We're almost there. It's like we're at the finishing, we're at the finish line. Just now give the people what they truly want. I love seeing these bad folks ousted. I just give me promise of change. And I think Mike Ybarra, Jen O'Neill are going to do that. It's going to take time for them to sit in those roles, own the roles, and really, write down the rule of law, which they're probably doing right now. I got a question for you, CJ. Obviously, this is all important stuff. What are your thoughts on boycotts or people saying, like us, like we don't want to cover your game anymore? Because I've heard like people make really valid arguments going, nah, at the end of the day, you're still a video game podcast. These things are still part of the news cycle. You should still cover them and maybe give people the knowledge of what's going on there. And folks like us that aren't comfortable talking about them, or folks that are outright saying like, time to boycott them. only way they're going to listen. Where do you fall?
Right. I mean, I think it's important to, as players, demand from the people who make games or the companies and publishers who are making these games, demand, you know, that their employees be treated with respect and be treated well, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't think that's uh out of turn at all. Boycotting the stuff, I mean, I think that's one way to send a message to these companies that they need to take this stuff seriously. And with this news of these people leaving, I think that's great. I hope that the people who replace them aren't just as bad as that. I
Mhm.
think that's something that you have to be concerned about. But, you know, as you said, with Jen O'Neill and Mike Ibarra leading the company, hopefully they're looking at that as well. And hopefully, you know, the people in charge of World of Warcraft and Diablo 4 are going to be better than the regime that was there prior.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Right there with you. And I have hope that that is the case, you know. So yeah, this is some solid news. There's some solid people in charge. We're on the right path. It's just
Yeah.
let's start sprinting. We're still walking.
What would
That's where
really
we go.
matter is if investors
Yeah.
really held Activision Blizzard's feet to the fire, because we as gamers can say that, oh, we're not going to buy Call of Duty or whatever. And that starts to get very difficult to do if
Yeah.
you're a fan of that series, right? Like it starts to be very hard. But if you're an investor in this company, they can make real change, right?
Hmm.
Like, and those
Yeah.
people probably aren't us or like video game podcasters or like hardcore gamers necessarily, but I'd love to see some of that start happening more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And again, like seeing people within the board going like, I don't, not digging this. This is not the fast enough change. It's not the sweeping change that we need. Hopefully that shows that, yeah, in the next coming weeks, there's again that mounting pressure. Bobby Kotick will give way. And you know, we got a question from not Nasty Boots, from Mr. Moody. I'm gonna try to see if I can find. Oh, I didn't put it in the notes. But along the lines of like, when's the shoe gonna drop for, you know, Ubisoft? And you know, I talked a little bit to Kyle before the show. Is I think that shoe's about to drop. I think that a lot of companies are looking at what's happening here, and they are writing notes, and they're doing SWOT analysis, and they're seeing what they can do to help prevent situations like these from happening, and hopefully ousting some people. And if I'm at Ubisoft and I'm leading the internal rebellion, I am asking the Blizzard devs for notes. You
yeah.
know, I think that's what we're all looking at this going, is this the right course of action? This is the test right here that we need to pass. So
Hmm.
with that, let's get into some Flash news. The biggest Flash news here: Idris Elba will be playing Knuckles in the Sonic sequel. Just some fast thoughts. CJ, first thing that comes to your head: Idris Elba. I know you're not a big movie
Yeah.
guy, you know.
Hey, just because I haven't watched Suicide Squad yet doesn't mean I don't know who Idris Elba is, right?
Okay, all right, okay.
That said, I have not seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, so
Fair, fair.
but this honestly makes me more interested in the sequel, because
Yeah.
this is going to be this. I think this is good casting. I He's been in a lot of really interesting things. Um, I think I'm down
Okay.
for watching this.
All right. Kyle, what say you?
I'm always down for Idris Elba to be in whatever he wants to be in.
Yeah.
The fact that he is not the next Bond is a travesty.
Well, apparently, so I heard of this from the grapevine. The next Bond's already been chosen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my
Huh.
brother was telling me all. He's a big Bond guy, so he's
Okay.
like, yeah, the next Bond's already been chosen. They're just waiting for Daniel Craig to, you know, say goodbye. So yeah, it's probably not Idris since he's taken all these roles. That said, Idris Elba is an amazing actor. I've had this talk with our friend of me, Luke Loy. He's like, he's fine. I don't see. He's like, whatever. I'm like, dude, shut your mouth. Idris kills every role that he's in, and I'm just I'm happy for Black Twitter. Odell Harmon Jr. was very happy about this news, and I'm then also perturbed because I know my mom's gonna probably want to bang Knuckles. She has the biggest crush on Idris Elba. I think I've even said it on the show. So I'm just gonna be.
So you're saying Mama Bad Bit is going Knuckles deep?
Oh no! Oh my!
Wow.
I woke up and chose to be chaotic today.
I love it. Amazing. Naga Chaka writes in, Idris Elba is aware of the effect that he has on women, including my mother. And let's be honest, he has an effect on everyone. It's true. Like, I look at Idris, I'm like, I get it. If you could cast Idris Elba to play a live action role of a first party Sony character, who would it be? I think Mark Wahlberg should step aside so Idris could fill the role of Sully, not Sully, in the upcoming Uncharted movie. Start the reshoots. This is great. And Famous Seamus asked the similar question as well. If you get to cast Idris Elba as anybody, I'll even go a little broader with like Famous Seamus. Anything in gaming, who would it be? I'm gonna go with CJ on this one. CJ.
Let's do a Bloodborne movie and have him be the main protagonist.
Nice. And I like that. CJ knows how to get to me. Yeah, he knows. Kyle?
One word. Okay. Boy. He's Kratos.
Oh, that would be
Kratos.
Good. Be
dude,
really
like
good.
getting him like jacked as shit.
He is at 100% Kratos.
Okay.
What about Astrobot?
Yeah,
you could do Astrobot.
You could do Astrobot. Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of thinking Infamous. Something about like having him to be Delsin Cole. That'd be dope. Yeah, he's been the superhero before. He could do it again. So that's cool. That's fun. And I'm actually excited for the Sonic movie. That's something that I didn't think I'd ever say. Here's an update. Life is Strange True Colors adding DLC episodes and the remasters have been delayed. This comes from Push Square. True Colors is still on track for the September 10th release date, despite a heart-stopping letter published by the social media's accounts that Life is Strange Remaster and Life is Strange Before the Storm Remaster will not deploy until early 2022. Square Enix explained that it's eager to alleviate the pressure of the team. Sorry, it explained that that doesn't make sense.
That's eager to alleviate pressure on the team, yeah.
You think it makes all right, fine. Especially due to the ongoing panorama. So do not worry if you purchase Life is Strange True Colors Ultimate Edition, as you will still get the remasters when they release next year. In the meantime, DLC named Wavelengths will deploy on the 30th of September. So I put this in here because I did not know Life is Strange is so soon. September 10th? My goodness. So a little bit bummer. I know, Kyle, you were excited to play the first games.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you still going to play the first games now knowing that it's been pushed back?
If anything, this will just push back my Life is Strange playthrough until next year, I think.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm going in, man. September 10th. Here we go. Splitgate getting a next-gen upgrade for PS5 and Series X. They explained that it would have been out already, but the server capacities, that issue. The game's just way too popular. It's the number one free game on PlayStation, ousting Fortnite.
Wow.
Think about that, man.
Wow.
Think about that.
Huh.
So, congratulations, Splitgate team. Yeah. Hey, CJ, have you played Splitgate at all?
I have not.
Okay. I've played a little bit of it. I'm not enamored by it by the way like as so many other people are, but it's a solid little game, and I hope it gets some DualSense support to it because I think that'll make the guns feel better to shoot. With that said, another question for CJ. Are you holding on to something by any chance? You holding on to like your desk? You holding on to your seat? All right. Prepare the drop. Here are the latest steals and deals landing on the PlayStation storefront. August 9th, I Am Dead for the PlayStation 5 and PS4. On August 10th, Arcade Action Wrestling on the PS4. Arashi Casuals of Sin on PS4. Black Book on PS4. Button City on PS5. Godfall on PS4. Super Hiking Deluxe DX on PS4. Synth Riders on PS4. On August 11th, Space Intervention and Axiom Verge 2 on PlayStation 4. PS5 later, down the line. Nonetheless, August 12th, Assassin's Creed, The Siege of Paris. And August 13th, Hades on PS4 and PS5. There you go.
Nice.
I cannot wait for Hades. It is. Whew.
I mean, shout out to, we're recording this on the 11th. Shout out to
Yeah.
Axiom Verge 2 just dropping today.
Oh, yeah.
That's major. In the indie world, that is a major, major drop, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and dude, Axiom and Hades in the same week. That's
It's crazy.
yes. One guy made Axiom Verge too, and Axiom Verge.
Mm-hmm.
And like this, the soundtrack already slaps.
It's Thomas Happ. He's a talented individual.
He really is.
It's true.
It's time that we hop aboard the Sony Pony Express. McChillin writes, oh, sorry. You can send your questions via the PS Trophy Room Twitter, via the Trophy Room Discord server, or you can even shoot us an old-fashioned email at pstrophyroom@gmail.com. McChillin writes, regarding last week's conversation on PSVR 2, is the PlayStation 5 compatible of running VR games itself? If so, PSVR could use some sort of remote play or cable to the console and not need the equipment for the headset, ? If so, they could do the OLED screen and the controllers without a price that discourages the average gamers from trying it. Any thoughts and predictions for PSVR 2's compatibility or release date? Now, here's a good question here. So first off, PSVR standalone, you need to have it plugged into a PS5 or PS4, unfortunately. But the question here is, how backwards compatible is it? Like, will it be backwards compatible on the OG PS4 or OG PSVR? I don't think so. Because remember, this is supposed to be a camera-less VR headset.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that might bum some people out. Maybe they actually get some smart delivery down the line, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
So you're saying we can't play Rescue Mission on this thing?
Probably not.
Or Moss?
What?
That was hurt my soul. Probably not. There'll probably have to be some type of enhanced edition we pay 10 extra bucks for. Because again, like, how are you going to make that technology work if PSVR is cameraless PSVR 2's cameraless and PSVR isn't? Like, motion is going to be a big factor. So I'm going to say
I would hope they can come up with something, because I didn't get a PSVR setup this gen.
Yeah.
But I've been watching all of the amazing games that have been released by Sony and others. And I'm very interested in some of those games, but I'm not going to buy into VR until PSVR 2. So if that were the case, that all of those titles are lost to time, basically, like, that would be really upsetting to somebody like me, who's like looking forward to, like, if this thing's going to be expensive, having a sort of pre-built catalog of all those PS4 VR games that I missed coming forward to the next generation PSVR.
Yeah, I would want that too. Again, but PlayStation being PlayStation, I don't see them have the wherewithal.
I have a feeling that they will all work.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that, like, Moss was the first game at the last State of Play, the second one.
Oh, that's right.
And like, I would find it weird that they would highlight a VR game for PSVR with the second one right around the corner. You know, like, I feel like they could all still work. Like, I understand what you're saying, where it needed a camera to sense the movement, but I feel like if the camera is still in the headset or however it works, I feel like that's like a 1-to-1 kind of switch.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
That
I'm
Yeah.
rereading McChillan's question here too, and he's wondering if the processing is all in the PS5 system itself. So
Right.
you wouldn't have any processing in the headset. PSVR in general, it didn't have any processing going on in
Right.
the headset. It had the breakout box
yeah.
Yeah.
that was doing that. So, um, yeah, I mean, hopefully they engineered the when they built the PS5, they knew hopefully that they were eventually going to do VR and made it so that it's going to be something that can compete with the Oculus Quest 2, which a lot of people love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that being without cables, I think is a huge leg up. Like, if there's any way that Sony can compete just on experience itself, like,
hmm
and also the most titles they can get and exclusive titles they can get on PSVR 2 is going to be key.
Yeah. No, I'm 100% with you, and I do hope that again it's all for the most part the processing's in that headset because I
Yeah.
think that's why that Type C port in the front is there. It's just a plug in the headset to the console, and that's it.
If they can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Let us will it into existence. Jedi Master Rin writes in. First off, we were very much like Obi-Wan on Mustafar. It's like, don't do it, don't try it, Sony. don't pull the backwards compatibility stunt on us. Jedi Master Ren writes in, so we're hot off the heels of the Microsoft's ID at Xbox showcase. Hearing Sarah Bond talk about what they do for indie devs to help bolster their games and give them the spotlight gave me chills. And and it got me thinking about ways Sony could do more help for these smaller dev teams and really get their games on the forefront of gamers' minds. Where are your thoughts on how Sony is helping indie developers? Can I be a little mean here? Can I throw a little bit of shade Xbox's way? They can help by not doing those indie showcases. Those ID ones, 2 hours, man.
Was the
Two
new one
hours
2 hours long?
2 hours long.
Mm.
Well, the previous one was stretched out over like 5 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a Godfather and a half. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So no, I really do. Other than that, I really do like what ID at Xbox does. For the most part, there are some things that scratch my head as to why they do some things the way they do. Like I understand having your own Twitter account, but like to have your own Twitch and to have your own YouTube channel to me doesn't make much sense because that audience there, those subscribers are significantly lower. And PlayStation, what they typically do is just throw everything on that main slide and just produce playlists for everyone. But
Yeah.
CJ, I think you're the perfect candidate to talk about this because you are in the indie scene. So
Right.
what can PlayStation do to help their relationship with indies?
I mean, I think they are doing a pretty good job already. Like during State of Play, you see a lot of indie games spread around, and usually like when they did the Horizon Forbidden West State of Play, they did that as a standalone. They
Yeah.
let that be separate, and they let indies in the July State of Play. I thought there were a lot of really great indie titles shown there. So I mean, I think they're doing what they can. I think part of it is they just have a lot of content and a
Mhm.
lot of different tastes to try to cater to. And to me, they're doing what they can. They recently did that sort of Twitter and PS blog
hmm
Yep.
indie announcement thing that I thought was an interesting way to go. Although I think presentations like State of Play are probably a better way to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, I think they're doing a better job now than they were 4 years ago
Mm,
with indies. But I think it's going to take a little bit of time to build that back up because, well, you got Shu Yoshida now involved in their indie outreach,
right.
and I mean, they're going to take it seriously. They're
Yeah.
gonna, to me, I think they're going to do a good job with it. Um, it's just taking a little bit longer maybe to get to people where they're really recognizing it like an idea at Xbox or like a Nintendo Indie World sort of presentation.
Yeah.
hmm
Kyle, what say you? The big indie guy right over here.
Yeah. I think what CJ said is right there. I
Mm.
think they are doing a great job, and like not only just in the state of plays, but I sound like a broken record when I say that, but like when the PS5 was first announced, that show was filled with indies.
Yeah.
That was a huge spotlight for so many incredible indie games. Um, so I think they're doing a great job. I bring up the Twitter threads often too on the show where I like it's a great idea,
Right.
but if you we're right off the heels also of like Nintendo Indie World today, where that was a 20-minute show and it showed nothing but indies, and it was great. So
Yeah.
why can't you do a state of play indie version where it's not just a Twitter thread announcing these cool things, but like actually show off the games a little bit? I feel like that would help a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because seeing games in motion do more for it than just like screenshots, I feel.
Yes. No, I
Well, I
think
think
you're
it's interesting
100%
though
there.
that they could do it. Maybe they have to call it something different than state of
That's
play,
fair.
because I think you guys will probably agree. Like when Sony announces a state of play, you're like, oh man, we're gonna hear about this, and
Yeah.
this. Like you have
Mm-hmm.
expectations suddenly, and then when that state of play is like a bunch of indies, your expectations are not met, right?
Right.
So immediately you're disappointed in that. Like the state of play in July, which had a bunch of indies and a bunch of smaller titles, people were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that wasn't as impressive." I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they have to call it something different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
They
think like
have been somewhat good of setting those expectations,
yeah,
but
that's
again,
true.
they're usually like on the blog, and
Yeah.
we've said it before. We don't know how many people actually go to the blog
Yeah.
that aren't making podcasts or like creating content based around it. So that's kind of lost on a lot of people who watch. So you ever see the live chat in like the state of play thing? It's just
God.
like this was awful. Where's my Bloodborne 2 or where's
Where
Horizon?
is
God
it?
of War. Where is it? Yeah.
Where is
Yeah.
it? Gosh darn it. Yeah, I think calling it a separate event like the PSND like event or like PlayStation Loves Indies, whatever. Um,
Let's call it
make it its
Shoes
own thing.
Corner. And
Shoes corner.
it's just
There you
shoes
go.
showing
Shoe
off
at a
indies. Come
shoe like
on.
just sipping an espresso
Printing
going like,
money,
Call
Sony.
it
Let's
the
go.
shoebox.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
even better.
Done.
Even
there you
better.
go. And he's yeah, just let you do the whole thing. Last but not least, we got a question from Hide Indoors. I'm still on my journey, she writes in. The journey of playing Maneater right now. I'm trying to beat the Apex Orca and it's kicking my ass. I put a bunch of quality time with it on Monday and encountered a bizarre bug in the game where I couldn't move and my view was from the inside of the shark's mouth. I posted a video on it on Twitter if anyone wants to check it out. This happened to me twice since started playing. This was probably the worst break in a game break I've experienced. I've had a close application. Oh, sorry. I've had to close the application each time. Have you guys ever had a time where a game spazzed out in a pretty terrible / funny way? A game that spazzed out on you. You know
Oh,
what?
I have a couple right off the bat.
I feel like for me, I'm really boring. Usually when I have like a game breaking bug, I would just close it. And it happens all the time, sadly, nowadays. Kyle, what's at you?
We were playing Fallout 76.
Oh boy.
Me, you, Joe, and our friend Fiona. And we were in like the opening town, whatever. I'm like, guys, I'm stuck on this stretcher that was like out on the road, whatever. And they both turn around in game and look at me and go, no, you're not. There's nothing there. And I'm arguing with them. I'm stuck on this thing. Why can't you see this? And they were like, Kyle, you're crazy. And
Yeah.
just go, Kyle. It's a straight line. No, there's a giant thing that was stuck on, and I had to leave and pop back in. Similar to I played Apex Legends, I believe, also with Joe and a friend of the show, Stephen Fontana over at Dual Screens, where all the visuals went like acid green. Like I felt like I was having an acid trip, and everything was weird and slowed down. That was exceptionally weird. And the last one is just like trying to upload my Borderlands 3 save to the PS5 version. Took me 2 months because it constantly kept crashing. It constantly wasn't working. dumb delivery over here on
Dum dum
PlayStation, as Joe
delivery.
says. It's those are some of the bugs that just like infuriated
Yeah.
me.
CJ, has there ever been a bug that stuck out to you?
Oh, well, Sea of Thieves. I gotta mention Sea of
Oh
Thieves on
yeah,
every
right.
podcast I'm on,
Absolutely.
right? There was a bug early on with the spyglass.
Hmm.
If you took out the spyglass and looked through it, the character models would basically like outstretch your arms and the spyglass would be in the middle of your body.
Right. Yeah.
And that was one of the funniest glitches that I've ever
Yeah.
seen in a game. But I'm kind of like you, Joe, where if I run into like a game breaking bug or like a camera thing that I can't get out of, I'm just gonna close the app
Yeah.
and reboot.
I'm not here to reminisce. I'm here to quick boot. Like, yeah, like Sea of Thieves, there's
Exactly.
so many bugs in that game. It's just part of the game.
True. Well, that's
Yeah.
true too.
So like people are just skeletons running around, people are invisible, floating
There,
swords everywhere, you name it.
there's also this other one with Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus on PS3,
Oh yeah?
where I was going for the platinum and I had to collect a certain amount of bolts to get like the last weapon in the game, and I fell through the floor in the game
Oh
worlds, and it auto saved. So every time I
Oh
loaded up, I fell
no.
through the floor,
no.
and I stopped. There was my third playthrough to get all the bolts.
Yeah.
That's never happening again. I'm done with that game.
I feel you. I feel you. That's been the Sony Pony Express. Before we head on out, I do want to talk about a little bit of what we've been playing, just to round everything out. Just one game each. I want to give a shout out on my end to Ray Martinez and TPR. We got to play Apex, the new season, and guys, it's like I never left. I'm just so good in this game. I'm not being humble anymore. Why even try? Why even bother? Pathfinder main, getting wins, getting championships, whatever you're calling them in that game, that's what I'm getting. Shout out to that game. And one game I've been playing, and I do want to give a shout out on, is a little game called Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice.
Ooh.
I never got to beat it. The update came out on Xbox Series X. I plugged it in. I played it for about 5 to 10 minutes. And this is where I get PlayStation fanboyish. I'm sorry. It didn't wow me. So I was just like, 10 minutes in, I was just like, I'm just going to play this on PS5. It got trophies. That's the big alert. I'm like, I've heard this is an easy plat. So I was able to, first off, shout out to the mode just existing and not charging me $10. But like the 120 FPS mode was great, but like 1080p on this beautiful OLED, I don't want that. The way to truly play is 4K dynamic 60 FPS, which looked and played relatively well. But because I believe Hellblade has some ray tracing elements in it, because you crank it up to the 60 FPS, I saw some weird stuff with reflections. So it wasn't that buttery smooth for me. So playing it on the PlayStation 5, it doesn't look the prettiest, but I will say that game is something else. Like, I understand when people say they're not having fun playing The Last of Us. They're just going through the motions. Like, I'm not having fun with Hellblade, but I feel like it's an important game that everyone should play. Like, this game does tackle mental health, anxiety. I turned it to easy because the sounds were getting to me so bad that I couldn't do fights. So it's just like, I'm just turning it to easy. I'm experiencing it, and I left off at the part where like it's just pitch black and I'm hearing like voices, like creepy roaring. Like, it was weird, but shout out to that game. I should have it platted by this weekend if I don't piss my pants playing it. So that's what I've been playing. CJ, beyond Sea of Thieves, is there anything you've been checking a look at?
Yeah, let's talk PlayStation stuff. Arcadegeddon, talking about that July state of
Oh,
play.
nice.
Ooh,
I've been
nice.
playing that a little bit. That's from Ilphonic, who's one of
Mhm.
my favorite developers. Just if you haven't jumped in on this game yet, it's a co-op shooter that just feels really fun to play. Like the shooting mechanics are awesome. It's procedurally generated, so like each area feels a little bit different. They have sort of puzzle pieces that they fit together to make each stage, and you can adjust the difficulty. You can ramp it up or pump it down if you want to. Like there's a lot of really cool gameplay mechanics going into that, and they're going to add like a PvP mode. It's like very short arenas really that you play through right now, but they're going to have like a PvP mode that gets um, inserted in between all of those sort of
Okay.
co-op areas.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a really interesting shooter. I think a lot of people sort of ignored it after the state of play in July, but it's a really fun game and worth a look. And they've got a roadmap to support it through next year. So
Nice.
I think people should check it out.
Nice. Yeah, I've been meaning to as well, because I'm hearing nothing but positive things out of it.
Yeah.
So that might
But
be
I
something.
also got a shout out
Okay.
next week. PlayStation 4, an update to Tetris Effect comes out for your PlayStation 4 entertainment system that turns it into Tetris Effect connected. Got cross-play multiplayer in there and a bunch of new modes and stuff. So you'll definitely want to check that out when it hits on the 18th.
Yeah, and honest to goodness, Tetris Effect is one of my favorite VR games. I think that is what it's. I think it may be my favorite Tetris. Forget 99, because that game's full of malarkey at the end. Tetris Effect is such a chill experience, man.
It
That
is.
game
And full
made me
disclosure,
cry.
Yeah.
How emotional that music got, like how serene it is in the
Yes.
VR headset, like it got me there. It got me to that place where I was feeling the feels.
Totally. And full disclosure, I do work for Enhance and they make Tetris Effect, but it's a great game on PS4 and everybody should check it out.
Yeah.
Free update to make it connected. So
Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kyle, what have you been playing, my man?
Other than MLB The Show, which I do want to give a special shout out to MLB The Show.
Yeah.
They just dropped another huge content thing. They're pumping it out. Field of Dreams, where like you play in the Field of Dreams stadium from the movie, and you unlock players from or from that era. Like White Sox and Yankee players, which is super, super rad. The way that Sony San Diego is supporting this game is like, it's incredible. Shout out to Sony San Diego. But like the only other thing I played Axiom Verge 2 for about 30 minutes today. Really, really love it. I haven't played the first one. It's been on my backlog forever, but I wanted to just see how modern this one is compared to the other one. The fact that Thomas Happ is a single dev team by himself doing everything pretty much. It's really good. It controls and feels perfect. Platforming is tight. The combat seems interesting. The sound is awesome, although a little too loud. I had to bump it down in the menus a little bit. It's fantastic. It feels like it's going to be a high on my list this year already. So yeah,
I can't wait till it gets a PlayStation 5 version, the PlayStation 5 enhancements. Hopefully some smart delivery on that game. But I'm loving it as well. I'm really digging the music. The sounds are something else. I didn't have the like too loud. I was playing with headphones. So I thought it was.
Oh, that's fair.
It was just
the
fine,
only way I noticed it is in game. It was loud, and I popped it back to the home screen just real quick.
Fair.
And everything was much lower. It's like, oh, this is a little weird. But that's it.
Before we go, I want to go to the bounty board real fast. I want to shout out some people who gave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or just gave us a really nice comment. Daniel T92 writes, and he actually messaged me on PSN. So I want to do this full PSN out there. So Dan, you know who you are. But I, every couple of months I check, and I got a lot of requests. And a lot of it, like, I was going through a vetting process. I was like, Kyle, this person? This person? But yeah, thank you all so much for the messages. It really does mean a lot. They write in. I look forward to the podcast every week. Long time subscriber. Y'all get me through many 12-hour shifts. Keep the positive energy, and if you don't mind, give me a shout out and let Kyle know as well to keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you. And this one comes from Brown Gaza, who writes in, and I'm sorry for butchering your name, who gave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast says a PlayStation must, the best PlayStation podcast in the market. You'll get the latest news and topics in the gaming industry. My admiration and respect for both hosts have only grown week by week. 100%
Oh,
recommended. Thank you so much,
appreciate
man.
you.
Thank you. And with that, Kyle, we spotlight some cool community members. It's time to spotlight yourself. Is there anything you'd like to shout out before you go?
Absolutely, Mr. KSEP on Twitter and on PSN and on Xbox. So friend me and follow me all over there. Follow all the indie news coverage that we do over at 61indie.com. That's SIXONEINDIE. Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all those things are the same. If you're in the New York area this Saturday, August 14th, 61 Indie, the crew, and the community, we're doing our first in-person meetup since pre-COVID times. Full vaccination is required. You don't come if you're not fully vaxxed, please, and just get vaxxed in general. It's gonna be a good time. We're gonna hang out in Central Park and then go over to Brooklyn, which is a new esports like gaming bar thing, which is pretty rad that a friend is starting up. So it's gonna be a fun day. So check us out if you're in the New York City area.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but
That's fair. You'll be
I'll
there
be
in
with
spirit.
you in spirit. Exactly. CJ, what a pleasure, what a blast having you on. This was, again, a long time in the making for me. This is such a great episode having you on. It's always a great time. Anytime I get to speak with you. Let the people know where they can find you, my man.
Sure. Well, I am Super Pack on Twitter. That's SUPERPAC. That's my account on everything, pretty much. And it has been for like 20 years.
Nice.
Before it became a political.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it like you're really like into that Supreme Court hearing? And
no, not at all. Not happy to get a bunch of like mentions on Twitter that are of the political variety.
Yeah.
If it's Super Pac-Man, come on, people, that's what it is.
All right, I get it.
But I also host the Player One podcast, and you can find that at player1podcast.com or P1 Podcast on Twitter.
There you go. And please check them out. They're fantastic. I try my best to stop in and at least lurk every Sunday when they go live.
We see all the comments in the chat, but we don't actually like shout out everybody because the whole show would then be that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I and it's definitely, that's why I don't do a live show, because I get distracted easily.
Exactly.
And if I'm seeing awesome comments like #boo Luke in the chat, I'd get distracted every time.
But Joe, thank you for having me on the Trophy Room again. This is my favorite PlayStation podcast, and you guys are awesome. So keep it rolling.
Thank you. That means a lot. That means everything. So thank you all. Thank you so much. And thank you all for tuning in this week. Of course, as always, please leave us a 5-star review over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Spotify, you can follow us there. Google Podcasts, follow us there. Any podcast choice that you have, we're probably there as well. So go follow us if you haven't, or hit like, share, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow me at Mr. Badbit and follow the show at PS Trophy Room. And because we should say it, we're kind of like a broken record at this point. Who knows when the next state of play is? Be on the lookout. Make sure those RSS feeds are refreshed. If the rumors are right, and they often aren't, there could be one on the 19th, which means our show may be delayed next week. So make sure you're following us on PS Trophy Room to get the latest updates. But with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep hunting. Keep your wits about you. And keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.